Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is June 19th, 2022. This is episode 513. Today we're looking at This Hungry Earth Reddens Under the Snow-Clad Hills. Actually, this is the Rush, but for some reason they don't have the Rush on the cover. They have the kind of the slogan. This is issue 6 coming out from Vault Comics at a whopping $3.99, and this is a recommend. This issue number 6 also ends the story. It's a really, really intense story, horror, set back in the period of the Klondike Gold Rush. And on our cover here, we see this woman kind of dissolving. And this action does appear in the story. However, we'll get to that in a little bit. Not this exact image, but what is going on with her happens in the story. As I said, this has been called The Rush. And there you go. Cy Spurrier doing an excellent job on this as the writer. Nathan Gooden as the artist. Nice job with him. Addison Duke is the colorist. And Hassan Otsmane-Elhaou is the letterer. This is part 6 called The Wake. Now, I just want to say that this is a little bit of an intense story. Not only are some of the images ghoulish, but it's also complex, and they speak in a dialect that was probably very well used back in the day, so it's hard today to understand it. Now, the story begins with Nettie Bridger looking for her son who has gone up to the Klondike to stake a claim. He's only 15, he's too young, and she finds out through the previous episodes here that there's been some nefarious goings on by the military police officer that is stationed there. And there's also all these monsters and whatnot creeping around the village of Bloodhoof. And Bloodhoof, what's protecting the village is they have these stakes up around it that keeps the spirits out. And apparently when you come up to this area, it's kind of like in this cratered area, you get very obsessed with fighting gold. It becomes a sickness, and whether they're hallucinations or they're really happening, there's some horrible things that have happened. So we've got our group of people here. Some of them have done okay. They've made some money. They're partying relentlessly in this little town of Bloodhoof. But it seems if they try to leave, they also get cut down by these spirits that are around there. And there are some very odd spirits. Now here's our MP that turns out, we found out in the last issue, that he's actually an evil man. He was helping Nettie, but just for his own gains. It turns out that he has been collecting all the claims himself from these miners that have gone up there and lost their lives. Now here's Nettie. She's been taken by this creature here, and it was the MP's the mounted policeman's idea that this thing would carry her off and kill her. It turns out this is actually her son that's been transformed. He's been tricked, and now he's kind of this ghoulish creature that just kills. But he does recognize this woman as his mother. Now he kind of goes back and forth. He's trying to fight the urge to kill her off. And finally, he kind of just, in this issue, he gives in and just says, please take me out of my misery. So there's some flashbacks in here of what he kind of went through and whatnot. And she finds the strength in herself to do so, to carry out her son's wishes, since he can never transform back into his original human self. He has given into the evils of the land, so to speak. She's very angry. Meantime, the dead have started to approach the town of Bloodhoof, but they've got these special stakes up that kind of, I guess for some reason, it keeps them away. And there's our mounted policeman. He's using some of the booze to make Molotov cocktails. He throws them at the dead, and they just stand there burning. So he's not quite sure what's going on. Meanwhile, more of the dead from the Klondike gold rush, if you recall, that was, if you know anything about it, many people perished trying to find gold up there. Just horrible things happened. And Nettie is walking amongst them. And she walks over to a cabin that has a bunch of these strange, odd creatures. She's already killed her son off, who had turned into one of these things. But we have the Pinkerton guard, or detective, Pinkerton detective, and a couple of these other odd items here. And he tells her the story of he was tracking some man that was having an affair with some indigenous woman there. She was carrying the child, and they hunted him down and killed him. But the military or the mounted policeman actually shot the Pinkerton. I believe it was not by mistake. And then he tried to drown the indigenous woman himself. So she never found the body, and so they're trying to figure out what to do next. As far as Nettie says, just kill me. I've got no strength left. In the last second, she gets the man that was kind of like her guide to this Bloodhoof area. It turned out he has been corrupted. He's also by the gold, but he says, you know what, take me instead. Use the last of my life powers. And you can see he gets taken away by this Pinkerton guard or detective that is turned into this odd spirit. He's kind of the Spider-Man. He controls all the arachnids in the area. So they make an approach down towards the city. Nettie gets a shovel, and she's able to dig out one of the stakes, which opens up the city, or the little town of Bloodhoof, to all the spirits, and they come raging in, just decimating everybody in there. And not that there's anybody in there that should be saved. They're all kind of corrupt, and yeah. So in the meantime, she takes down the mounted policeman, the Mountie, I should say. And he's carried off in some kind of cocoon by the Pinkerton detective's pet spider that he rides like a horse. And then the Pinkerton is going to question him, but he pulls out a revolver out of his waistband and shoots Pinkerton, but does not kill him. And the Pinkerton turns and takes his gun and shoots the arm off. As you can see, the bloody stump here of this corrupt mounted police. And then they fight and tussle, and they crack through the frozen lake. And this brings back the spirit of the woman that was never really killed, I guess. Her spirit still remained alive underneath the water. But then, as we saw in the cover, she starts to fade and dissolve away, leaving Nettie the only one left alive in this whole thing. And you can see here's the crater where the town is over here, the frozen lake where they are. Just some really nice artwork in here. So it's the kind of artwork where you have to look closely to see the details, to figure out the stories. You can see the spiders moving off now that their master has died off, and we find that Nettie has finally found peace in this area, as the sun shines and the thaw has come, so to speak. So, pretty decent story. It is complex. It's a little difficult to understand, the dialects and everything, but the writing's solid. The art is solid. Just and the horror in it's pretty good too throughout. Not just this last issue, but throughout the other 5 issues as well. Okay, so that's a recommend. Let's take a look to see what else Vault is offering right now. I think these are mostly trade paperbacks. We've got Heathen. It's the complete. I don't know anything about this. The first time in print, coming soon. Big Axe Hardcore. This is barbaric. I recommend this highly. I think in this is only a 3-issue set, though. It's not more than that. It seemed like it was a very short run for Barbaric. It was very good. It's Owen the Barbarian who's got an axe that talks back to him. It's got bloodthirst. The axe is cursed with bloodthirst, and you can see it gets a lot of tens from everybody that has read it. It's a lot of fun. Then we have Human Remains. I don't know anything about this one. A Violent and Bloody Good Time. New complete series. The Last Book You'll Ever Read. Yeah, it's got a blurb by Patton Oswalt. I don't know anything about this one. Bleed Them Dry. A Ninja Vampire Tale. I don't know anything about this one as well. But these are all trades or hardbacks, it looks like. I'm not sure which. They look like hardbacks, actually. Another one, Hollow Heart. Paul Allor. Paul Tucker, working on that. I don't know anything about that book. And, of course, The Rush, which we just finished. This was very good. You've got Garth Ennis and Matthew Rosenberg and Victor Lavalle saying they liked it. So, and I like it. Indie Comics Jones recommends it highly. But it is a little difficult to read, I'll give you that. Other than that, it's pretty well done. Well done for a comic book for only $3.99. And we get the little blurb on the back about what's going on in the store. I'll zoom in here. There you go. So eat all that up. Okay. So there you have it. I hope you guys had a good Father's Day out there. I had a wonderful one. I had a nice steak tonight. So I'm more than loving Father's Day today. As always, please like, please subscribe, please leave comments if you wish, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.